Coach Fisha here, and I'm bringing you the 6 ways to get beyond a toxic past, whether it's a toxic relationship, a toxic upbringing, a toxic friendship, boyfriend, husband, regardless. I am going to pour into your life the 6 essentials that you need to get beyond that thing or that time or those horrible memories. So let's get into it. Number 1 is change the story. So a lot of things in my life that I've been able to make it through a lot of things in my life today by changing the story. So I like to use this example all the time about my father. Me and my father did not have a tight-knit relationship. And he was not, I didn't see his face every day, right? So when he would show, he would demand respect because he was my father. And I could never get past the fact of thinking that he does not deserve this respect. And he did not deserve the same respect as my mother because he didn't pour into his children like my mother did. So as I got older and I noticed that I resented him for that, I decided to change the story for myself. And I applauded my father for teaching me respect and demanding and expecting that I respect him because I, in turn, I owe that to everyone. It's not something that somebody has to earn from me. I respect everybody. If you will get nothing else from me, you will get respect. That turned into a grateful time or a gratefulness towards my father as opposed to nasty, stinking thoughts about my dad. And I just simply changed the story. Because of my dad, I now have deeply embedded in me the intent to respect everyone. It's not something that you don't have to groom me. You don't have to beg me for it. The least you would get from me is respect. Change the story. All right. The next one is know that you deserve better and avoid things that move away from that. So a lot of changes in my life I had to go through on my own because I knew what I wanted and I knew that I deserved better. And that's not going to be an area where a lot of people are going to be rooting for you and helping you along the process. More than likely, you will meet new people along the journey or once you get to where you're going, per se. Because it's always going to be a journey, so you're never going to actually reach a destination. But along the journey, you will meet new people. And along that journey, I encourage you, when you meet new people, everyone may present themselves as a supportive or like-minded. And it may not be that way. And you won't know until you put yourself out there to meet new people and build those relationships. So in the event that you do meet someone or join an organization, a job, or whatever, make sure that those steps that you're taking do not resemble that toxic past that you're trying to get away from. You know what that looks like. You know what it feels like. Sometimes we can't put our finger on it. Sometimes it's just something. I don't know what it is, but I know what this feels like, and it doesn't feel good. It's very similar to when you hear a song from back then. You're like, oh, this song makes me feel like XYZ, or it in a negative way. Or you hear that song and it's like, ooh, I remember that time. So in that same way, trust yourself and know that if whatever changes you're making in your life, if they resemble that toxic past, no, I'm gonna let that go. All right. And the next piece also ties into knowing that you deserve better and avoid staying away from things that resemble that toxic past. Detox yourself. If I have this bottle of water here and it's filled to the max, there's nothing else that can go in here, right? I had to learn to unlearn some stuff. I had to become somewhat of an empty vessel so God was able to fill me with the things that He would have me carry with me the rest of the days of my life to live out my purpose. I had to unlearn some things. I had to get in my mind a different perspective on marriage. I had to get a different perspective on relationships. I had to get a different perspective on my parents, friends, business, money, savings, spending, all of these things. I had to unlearn some things. And it came from a very humble place because I had to get to the point where I got okay with saying, I don't know. because I don't know turned into a comfortable space for me to learn. So in the process of getting past a toxic past, you have to unlearn some things, become an empty vessel, and allow God to fill you with the things that he would want you to be filled with in order to live out your purpose. And to tie into that, before I pick up my phone, I pray, because there's so much nothing out there on social media. There's a lot of great things out there, but there's a lot of nothing out there as well. So I don't want to be filled with anything that God would not have me be filled with. So if I see something that's inspirational and I take offense to it, I know that that's not God. So before I pick up that device, I make sure I speak to my Creator and have me receive all that I would need to receive. So on my end, I make sure I don't have a bunch of garbage on my timeline, because it's only so much, God can do, he's capable of all, but I also have a responsibility to make sure that I'm being filled with the things that I know that it would be intended for me. So, yeah, detox, detox, detox. We like to think about your belly and getting clear skin, but your mind and your emotions are more important. I'm not going to say equally, they are more important. So, the next thing is focus on yourself. Focus on you. You are important. If nobody's going to focus on you as much as you focus on you. You can only take you to the doctor. You only have this body. You can only lose this weight. You focus on yourself. Nobody has the ability to get inside your mind and do anything. Whatever emotions you have that are easily accessible to you is what you're going to use. So if you're a person who easily jumps to anger, then that's going to be an emotion that you constantly use. If you're constantly offended, then when something happens, you're going to be offended. So we need to make sure that we're emotionally healthy to make this change from the toxic past, to be able to to live the life that we want to live and get beyond that old way of living. So focus on yourself. And when I say focus on yourself, I'm not talking about the way that you look, although that is important, but more so that your emotional health is top priority, because that's what rules everything. That is the ultimate box of your life that controls everything. We like to think that that we don't live by emotions, and strong people and this and that. No, I don't believe that. I think that some of the people who exemplify the most strength are people who are able to practice the fruit of the Spirit, which is discipline, and discipline their emotions enough to be able to operate for a long period of time and without breaking down. So I think at the end of the day, it does go back to your emotions. Number 2, 4, 5 is pray. Pray. I think that that's something that we throw around so often, and it's something that we sort of minimize. It's like a last resort thing. But as I just said about picking up the phone, pray. Every second of my life, especially when things get questionable, I talk to my Creator, because from where I sit, my life is being created and unfolded. From my perspective, God has already created it, it's already been written, but my life is this book, whatever this is on it. My life is this book, and I am on page whatever, and I haven't gotten to the solution on this page. So I need to talk to the person who wrote this book about me, my life, my situations, everything. So that's the way I look at it. And that's how I look at my problems as well. I may have a problem on this page. Okay, all right, I got a problem. But I know God is not going to leave me. So the solution is just over here. I just got to walk it out and live it out. And I would not have that perspective if I did not talk to my Creator. So you can call it prayer, you can call it communication, whatever, but you need to be in constant commune with your Creator. I'm not talking about listening to a sermon online. I'm not talking about reading scriptures that pop up on your phone every day. I'm not talking about talking to your pastor. I'm not talking about talking to your girlfriend that is that she's like, you all love talking about the Bible or whatever. I'm talking about isolated time where you're intentionally talking to God. Not about Him with somebody else, not listening to somebody else talk about Him, but you are spending this time with Him alone. You and Him. All right? The last thing is forgive yourself. A lot of times we don't think we're worthy of a new start or fresh opportunities because of the mistakes that we've made in the past. And it's just not true. It's just not true. We have to go through in order to make it through. And no matter where you are, no matter what you've done, no matter what you've been through, that's just your story. We all have a story. We all have a situation. We all have had situations. And whatever you've done, that's your story. Do not get to a place where you think that you've done so much wrong, you don't deserve better, and you never will get better. I think that we have these expectations of what better looks like, and that's what sometimes holds us back. But because you did something in 95, that does not make you unworthy of God's favor, grace, and mercy in 2018, 19, and beyond. Cut it out. Forgive yourself. And that ties into praying. That ties into focusing on yourself. That ties into detoxing and unlearning some stuff and becoming an empty vessel. That turns into walking away from stuff that does not tie into you letting go of that toxic past. And it also ties into changing the story. So I have just given you the 6 essentials of living your life in a new and shedding and getting past a toxic past. I love you all. Any questions, comments, hit me up. Support@CoachKeishaAustin.com, Instagram, Coach Keisha Austin, Facebook, Coach Keisha Austin. I love you all. We're going to keep on walking this thing.